wanted to be involved. I was pretty interfery. You know, they were like, "Would you like to be involved in casting?" And I was like, "Would I like a gold-plated Ferrari? Yes, I would like to be involved. I would like to be involved with everything." So there really was almost nothing where I didn't bug Harold about the costumes or the sets or the casting or the story at one level or another. And it was a very sort of group process because he was sort of introducing me to how you make a movie. And I was talking to him about, you know, the stories and where they went in the future and how things in this movie would affect the story down the road. And it was very collaborative.
Yeah. Jamie.
Hello.
Hello.
Woo! Woo!
Woohoo.
You are an arrogant bastard, sir. When I
Thank
say
you very
you
much.
are an arrogant
Thank
bastard,
you so much.
I'm talking about your character.
Oh, right. I see.
And you, of course.
Okay.
No, your character. Jace is pretty arrogant in the books. He's a guy that has a definite attitude. He's walking around with a tood. He's throwing a little tood off over at Clary. I mean, how much of that's going to translate on screen, what we've seen from him in the books?
Yeah, I played him as a sassy bitch. I really did. No, I mean, I think in the books, you know, obviously you have the availability to explore a character over, you know, hundreds of pages. You know, with the movie, we have to condense that. And what stuck out for me about Jace was this vulnerability that he has, and I've said this a lot, but it's true, so I'll say it again. So he has this vulnerability about him, and that's why he sort of puts on this facade of this cockiness or this self-awareness, this self-assuredness, and he lets that down. He lets his guard down with Lily, with Clary. Jeez. With Clary, and so you know, for him, that's his bag, and I made him really grumpy quite a lot of the time, but he needed to be grumpy in order for you to feel for him later on in the story.
Robert, you have some experience in sort of supernatural projects. You're no stranger. This guy knows immortality.
I might take my shirt off. I might just take my shirt off.
That's right. You know immortality from the Misfits. So how does sort of the Downworlders here differ from the characters in that show?
God, well, I mean, in the characters in Misfits, when they all get cursed with these superpowers, they kind of the superpowers were more like extensions of their own insecurity, you know. So they came very much from within them, whereas the Downworlder characters are they're kind of part demon, part human. They're a mix of the two, and they've learned to live peacefully with people, and so they've. So the superpowers and the demonic aspects of the characters in Mortal Instruments differ greatly. Yeah.
Kevin.
Uh-huh.
We learn a lot about your character, Alec, throughout the books. A lot of stuff happens with him. A lot of good stuff, some not so good stuff. How much did you peek ahead and sort of see what happens later? And if you did peek ahead, because you're a big cheater, how did you either include...
Don't tell my wife.
They're allowed to read ahead, you know.
Yeah, you're allowed to read it, but how much do you sort of include or exclude that stuff, that what you know, when playing him for this movie, from this book?
Well, I mean, I think we all were on the same page, which, you know, the main focus when I spoke to Harold was, you know, we were making one film. So in order, you can start, and it can really inhibit your ability to, you know, you can get ahead of yourself and reveal things that are not meant to be revealed until much later. And, you know, fortunately, it sounds like we're going to be able to make at least one more of these. So, but, you know, I tried at least to just sort of, you know, you try to create a character and not look too far ahead and not make any assumptions about him. I mean, there's the obvious thing with his sexuality, and obviously that's revealed throughout the series of the novels, but you know, that was something I considered, but it wasn't something that we, you know, we were just making a movie. We tried not to get too overwhelmed with the expectation of the entire series, and, you know, just started off by telling a great story. And I loved the character of Alec from the time I read the script. I really felt an affinity towards him, and it was, especially for a film of this sort of magnitude, I was super impressed that there was that Cassie was able to write a character that had all this stuff going on, and that he's still, you know, he's still kind of a badass.
Yeah. Godfrey Gao, Let's talk to the High Warlock Brooklyn for a second.
Hello, everybody.
He took his pants off.
Welcome to my party.
Yeah. I was gonna say, how do the parties at Comic-Con measure up? Because you know a good party when you see one, or throw one in this case.
Yeah, this is definitely, Magnus Bane's caliber. All these people here. It's crazy.